Children being targeted, taken without warning, without consent, some missing for years, kidnapped not by a stranger, but their own parent. Zane and Mateo James were on a court-ordered visit with their mother, Alma James. The boys went to sleep in Texas, then woke up in Mexico.
My sons are everything to me.
Stephen James' boys were snatched without a word of warning by the woman Stephen once called his wife. Their only window to the outside world comes through these bars. Stuck in a dusty, crime-riddled town in a foreign country.
It was the worst fear I've ever had in my life. I've never been that scared, helpless.
Stephen, a former sergeant in the Army, is waging an emotional war, relentless in his search.
What does that feel like to go 13 months without these boys?
There's nothing that compares to the thought that you may never see your kids again, or that they could be dead by the time you see them the next time.
That's the same nightmare Brett Hohenberger has, who lives just down the road in Texas.
The moment that this happens to you, time stops. You're no longer living, you're only surviving to fight another day.
Brett says during a court-ordered visit, his wife, Crystal Mills, never returned with their boys Gavin and Colton. Her cell phone was disconnected, and for more than 300 days, his boys are missing.
Every day that this went on, as a father, I felt like I'm failing my children if I don't figure out how to get them home.
Both fathers connected through anguish and frustration.
I personally entered 3 different police departments, a total of 7 times, before any report was made regarding my children missing.
It was weeks before we could even get a missing persons report, and 6 to 8 months before any legal agency at all showed any interest in getting involved in helping.
Brett and Stephen have spent a small fortune fighting to get their boys back.
Over $60,000 is invested.
I would have paid any amount of money it took to get them back.
But these Texas dads say that didn't buy them justice. And in today's system, even when kidnapping parents are caught, Texas prosecutor Jamie Beck says the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Typically, juries hand out these verdicts, and after they hear both sides, a lot of times it ends up in probation.
Even with felony warrants for kidnapping or interference with child custody, both mothers were able to elude authorities. The fathers finally find solace in a man who walks the same line as the criminals, but only to catch them. Private investigator Logan Clark.
Have you found that there is a common thread to why parents kidnap a child?
The most common thread is revenge.
What's it say about the system when you have these families seeking aid from a private investigator?
Whenever you have to go to that extent of spending thousands of dollars to hire a private investigator or to hire numerous lawyers throughout the country, that just shows that the laws are not being enforced as written, and we need that to happen.
Over the last 30 years, Logan has found and retrieved more than 300 children across the globe.
Why have all these parents come to you?
Parents have to come to us because the longer it takes for the police to admit that it's a kidnapping, they're not looking for them. Somebody's got to start looking for them.
These Texas dads are hoping Logan Clark will be able to bring their boys back home. Logan is a guy who does whatever it takes. Here he is in a helicopter in the Philippines, trying to swoop in and rescue a boy kidnapped from Australia by his mother.
My team will land in a country, we get to our safe house, and we're given whatever we need by our local contact.
Every case comes with a sting operation. Here he is on the same case in the Philippines, infiltrating a cockfighting ring to meet his sources and bribe local contacts for access to the kidnapped child. Logan often gambles on elaborate covers. Here he is in a biker bar posing as a filmmaker scouting locations for a movie. This hidden camera video shows it can be incredibly dangerous.
We're doing a movie and we're doing a movie you talking about.
Thankfully, he talks this Hell's Angel down.
Next time you guys want to come in here, better think about what the hell you're doing.
From planning covers to long stakeouts, Logan hides and waits until he actually sees his child target for himself. In Fiji, Logan spent days waiting for the right moment to grab this mother's sons. He sat with the anxious mom for hours in a van. Then, right in front of them, there is her son, Tavita.
I can't believe that was Tavita. He's so gorgeous.
Her boys were living in a small village with no parental supervision. Logan's partner walked right into their home to verify it was in fact the kidnapped boys, before putting a plan together to grab them.
Now, you normally do snatch and grabs. Why is that?
We're in real quietly, out, and before anybody knows what happens, we're gone. The bad side is that if I get caught, I'm gonna go to jail for kidnapping.
Logan has been thrown in jails all over the world. Nothing has shaken him quite like working with mom Sarah Noman when her kids, Omar and Aisha, were kidnapped and taken to Yemen.
That was rough. Sarah was one of the most difficult that I'd ever come across.
This was pre-9/11. Logan was getting intel from Interpol and his FBI contacts on the dangers surrounding her son and daughter. They tried many times to lure her children away from the home.
Yes, go to the store. Mommy has a big surprise, but do not tell anybody.
It was barred windows, guys with guns. Children never went out. You couldn't get to them at all. You would have had to assaulted the place. It would have been a bloodbath. We would have had to go in with guns blazing to get the children out.
2 months of surveillance ended with Logan and Sarah outnumbered. He wanted to return to the States and regroup, news this mother would not accept.
I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna kill myself.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
I promise my son.
Tragically, not all of Logan's missions are success stories. He was forced to leave Yemen. Sarah reportedly tried to rescue her children without him, and Logan claims sadly she didn't make it out alive. Thankfully, both of our Texas dad stories have happy endings. The James boys are back with their dad, and he gives all the credit to a PI who refused to quit.
It isn't just police work, it's a sense of it was personal to him. You know, it was like he was searching for family.
And Brett just got Gavin and Colton back a few weeks ago.
I'm lucky. I'm one of the few that has this opportunity to have a future with my kids. What I've always wanted, and that is just to be a dad.
You happy to be home?
Brett's ex-wife, Crystal Mills, is now living in Arkansas. She has not been charged. Neither she nor her attorney have returned our calls. Steven's ex-wife, Alma James, is still in Mexico. Their children are still caught in the crosshairs of two parents at war.
You don't know where to go, who to trust, and it feels like the whole world's against you. When your parents, people who are supposed to be there for you, are fighting, it's horrible.
For Logan, he wants to retire, but says there's that special feeling he gets that just won't let him walk away.
When you rescue a child and you bring a child back to a parent, there's nothing like it in the world.
Really is tough to imagine work that could be more important, more meaningful, and Hollywood has now taken notice too. They say that Pierce Brosnan is now developing a TV series based on Clark's life. Several movie scripts are also being written.